All right. Hey everyone. So, back for more GBM. This week, it's a little interesting. So, I'm just going to open this here real quick. Hey Lulu. So, this is one of those really weird cases where they give us a patch where instead of waiting a couple of days to drop the 7-star banner, they just said, screw it. Might as well do it all at once. So here we are. We have a standard and the Urgent Battle 7-star. Now, to be fair, the Urgent Battle the Urgent Battle banners typically come out at the same time as the normal banners do. So we may actually be due for another 7-star later in the week. Don't you forget it. Anyways, we're going to look over the content drop as we normally do. Take a look at the event suit, event shop. Then we're going to check out the Gadget content. Roll over onto Twitter. Check out the videos there. Alterations. And then, as part of what I'm doing this month, we'll be checking out the new account, which I'm actually using right now to look at the game. What kind of pizza? Fresh out of the fridge, pepperoni and cheese. It's from yesterday. I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. So. There's also Hawaiian in there, but I'm saving the Hawaiian for breakfast. Now, let's take a look at our Guardian coin and the Onksha Gundam. Now, this has a really unique appearance to it, and I'm okay with that. It looks pretty good, actually, all things considered. Yeah, no, this isn't poor man's bachelor pizza again. No, this is like actual pizza. But not pizza the brand. Okay. So. I feel like this is going to be the head-mounted turrets or Vulcans. Yeah. Oh. Those are not really great EX skills. Their primary purpose is to reduce the enemy's defenses and potentially stagger them. There's just so much better available. Stat-wise. Wow. That's not bad, actually. So, after carryover, roughly the 30%, the purple, which most people will have, blue, we're looking at like a really, really healthy, that's what, 3,500 or so shot attack. That's really good for a welfare head. So, not the best, but really, really good in that top tier. So that's good for offensive stats. Has a little bit of armor. No beam resist, though, but, you know, don't get hit. The word tags are a little weird. We have support type and transformer. Support type, if you build around the support type tag, it can be okay. Because there are some traits that require support type to activate. But overwhelmingly, it's just not a very helpful tag. Transformer, on the other hand, that's a really powerful tertiary tag. It's got lots of oomph behind it. Lots of traits it activates, so that's a good tag to go for. Hello? Okay. The Onksha Torso. While Transformer, enemy EX skill penetration reduced by 22%. This is pretty much 22% less of your defenses will be ignored from an enemy EX skill, if applicable. So, not bad. Definitely more of a defensive trait. For a 3-star support type suit. Okay. Stats, we're looking at about 1700 or so shot attack on this. Token, 700 or so melee. The melee is something we would expect from pre-Super Sokai stat distribution. Shot attack is definitely much, much higher. Seeing a welfare torso break 1k is good. Seeing it go past 1200, really good, because that's kind of the range. 1k to 1200, that's typically the range. This goes way beyond that. Excellent. Good stat distribution again. And then support type transformer tag spread. Okay. Hey, you know what? Statistically, this is a good welfare shot suit. Alright. Arms. Forearm beam rifle. D pierce, B power. Really, really low cooldown. 6-second initial, 21-second base. On paper, looks really good. No true complaints to have about this one. It's a really nice skill to see on a welfare. But there is the very small chance that this is one of those EX skills with B power that hits like a wet noodle. Reminds you of the Abyss, eh? Okay. Okay. I can see kind of where you're looking at that and going, oh yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Abyss. I can see that. Interesting. Yeah. It's an integrated part, so this is going to have some good stats on it. So, let's take a look at the numbers. Only 2 alterations? Bless. Okay. So, arms with shield. We're looking at... Wow. About 1900 shot attack on the arms. It's pretty good. Pretty good. And then for melee, we're looking at about 4,300 or so. Do keep in mind that when it comes to integrated parts, if you use them for the front of your suit, so primary slot, for the stats, you are losing out on a trait slot, or EX skill slot, I guess, either or. You're missing out on that slot. But if you back slot this, you don't get the demerits of it. However, as this doesn't have any traits, you'd have to have some really good front arms for that. And that's just like an integrated arm thing. It's a lot like the argument with big parts on overwhelmingly average. Big parts have really good stats, but typically lackluster EX skills or traits. And it's kind of the balancing point of you get really good stats, but you got to suffer for it. With the exception of some more modern post-power creep suits. And simultaneously, arms with shields, these integrated parts, you have the same demerit system. Where, yes, you are getting big, beefy stats, you're getting the 4-word tags, all that, or the 4-word tag value, all that stuff. However, the trade-off is you are losing a slot whenever it comes to an integrated part where you're not going to be able to backslot anything. So that's the trade-off you make for this. Is it worth it? Depends on your build. For brand new players, this is a lot of friggin' stats, and it means one less part you have to upgrade early on. Pretty good. Okay. Support type transformer tags. Yeah, I don't have many complaints about this part. From the perspective of someone on a brand new account playing this game and looking at this part, pretty damn convenient. I only have one part I have to work on and improve, and it has unbelievably good stats for 50% of the work. Would I 6-star this part though? Debatable. I think that really depends on how much extra parts and materials I have laying around, but potentially I would, actually. It's got good numbers, man. Alright, legs. When all 3 Gunpla in squad or technique, squad shooting damage plus 300. That's a flat boost. No thank you. Moving along. Support type, Federation word tag. So Federation is starting to become a lot more common. We're seeing it on definitely more suits in the last year. And it is nice for melee, shot. You know, it's a nice tertiary offensively for both of those. It does also activate some traits, so overall, okay. Still don't like the support type tag, but that's going to be here to stay for the whole suit, as it's in the primary slot. As for stats, we're looking at about, what, 1,500 or so shot attack, which is, whew, spicy. Do remember, legs and backpack are typically the lowest statted parts of the main frame. So seeing them go over 1,000 is pretty good. Seeing them go over 1,200 is really damn good. A lot like the torso in that sense. So seeing this part very brazenly go beyond that point that's great. For a welfare, you're doing great, buddy. And then statistically, 500, 600 melee attack token values. This is obviously a shot suit, so don't expect too much in the melee department. The integrated arms do slap, though, in the literal sense. Overall, the legs, they're workable, honestly. The suit doesn't have the best word tag selection when you consider support type as its primary tag. It does require some back slotting to really get the most out of it, but the numbers are good. All right, backpack, our last frame piece for this suit. When buffed, shooting power boosted by 25%. Buffs are so easy to get in this game, that's not even a problem. This is, you know what, no, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to get, Anyways, I was going to reference something. We're not going to reference it. We're just going to move right along here. That's good stuff. That's all there is to it. Support type Federation word tags. See what I said about the previous part. And as for stats, 1455, yeah. So just under 1,500 or so shot attack. It's good stuff. Yeah. It's got armor. It's got shot. It's got okay word tags. Workable. I mean the suit overall. Okay. It's a pretty good backpack trait, though, all things considered. And the swords. After 20 seconds pass, boost job gauge by 40% once. I still don't like the job gauge. I still don't like what it brings to the table. I think it could be done so much better than it currently is. So this is kind of a... I don't really care too much. It is what it is, you know? Let's see. That's a good light level. Okay. Before it was like searing my eyes. Okay. If you are someone that really likes the job gauge, really like what it offers, all that fun stuff, hey, you know what? Power to you. As long as you can finish your match before 20 seconds pass, a 40% boost to your job gauge. It's hefty. Okay. Support type transformer tags. I've already talked about that combination. And offensively, okay. Not the best welfare swords we've ever seen in this game. That's definitely much higher. But almost 3,600. That's really good. That's definitely in the top echelon for this stuff. Overall, the Angsha Gundam has a lot of shot attack. It definitely is on the very high end of welfares when it comes to overall shot output on the suit. And with its integrated arms and its beam sabers, it still packs a hefty amount of melee in itself for a welfare suit. Overall, it's pretty solid, minus the word tags, all things considered. Has a couple of nice traits on there, primarily on the backpack. Yeah. And yes, it's really nice that it's an easy bingo. It's only 6 parts. It's worth it to do. If the arms weren't integrated with the shield, it wouldn't be worth it to do. But as it's integrated together, sure. All right, and what do we got in the chips? Gundam Type, Mobile Fighter, Heavy Armor, Long Range, and 4 Tundra. Okay. And what are our fragments this week? S Gundam, Full Glanza, and Zeta Plus. I'll probably pick up some Full Glanza on this account. I like the general appearance, if it's the suit I'm remembering correctly. Alright, let's go check out the Gadget. And as always, as the Harut, whatever, is a 7-star suit, I'm not going to be checking it out here. I'll only look at an alteration. Because honestly, I would just be looking at stats, really, and there's no point doing that on a 7-star suit. Week to week, 7-star suits are just going to get better. I just don't think there's much of a point in comparing them. So. Okay. So, we'll start with the MK3. We'll hit up our pilots. I'm really glad they added Stella from the Destroy. It means that Destroy is in the game. Spiritually, at least. But the word is in there. That's the important one. Now it'll be much easier to get the suit in there. You already got the pilot. Why not the suit? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. My dream is getting closer. I'll tell you right now, guys. I'll tell you right now. They add the Destroy Gundam in the game. Your boy is wailing for the whole suit. That's all there is to it. Alright, so let's take a look at the Gundam MK3, starting from the noggin and working our way down. This is a standard suit, meaning after 4 weeks have passed, this will be obtainable through the ticket exchange, the 4-star ticket exchange specifically. So, if you're a big fan of this suit, or you really, really want to get your hands on this suit, you could absolutely roll now. You know, you do you. But it's recommended to wait about 4 weeks for it to just become exchangeable. You can get the whole thing for relatively free with how often we're getting those 4-star big tickets. Okay. Huh. No crap, Lulu. The animation's like the strike. So now, are you talking the cartwheel jump to the side or like a dash to the side? Because that cartwheel jump where it does like its spray with the guns, man, that is, I loved using that move in every game that's available. I love it so much. The cartwheel, oh yes. I'm actually like so surprised the Strike Noir didn't have something like that when you think about it. Okay. So anyways, MK3. Take a look at it. So, headpiece. Shield parts EX skill power boosted by 30%. Hey, look at that. All of a sudden, all of our Yeet shields get a 30% boost. Of course, you know, there's the demerit of, oh, well, it's only for the shield slot. Sure. But those shield Yeets are already extremely powerful. It just makes it better. Obviously, it would be better if it was all parts, you know, just a general, you know, if high firepower or something. But, you know what? Sure, why not? Shield parts EX skill power boost. I can think of worse, frankly. It's pretty good, all things considered. Stat-wise, we're looking at about, what, 52, 5300 or so shot attack? For a 4-star head? Non-so-kind unlimited. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. And it has token melee. It's like 800 or so. High firepower Federation. Okay. So the high firepower word tag, obviously, it's a very build agnostic tag. It boosts melee. It boosts shot. It activates a ton of traits in both categories across the board for the last 2 years. It's a really good tag. We have so much access to it. All right, add another notch to the list. Federation. I already talked about this, moving on. Good combination of the two, though, because they're both build agnostic in the sense of they both boost shot and melee. So, okay. Torso. When one enemy shot down, non-EX skill power boosted by 40%. So, when one enemy shot down does restrict this just a little bit, because it means you're not going to be able to use it in any one-on-one content. This includes one-on-one arena, Shocking, I know. And pretty much any content where there's one enemy, multi-missions, at least the ones that don't have multiple enemies, obviously, and so on and so forth. You guys probably get the gist of it. And the non-EX skill power means anything that's not an EX skill, so your neutrals and whatnot. Is it worth it? 40% boost is hefty, but considering the game's kind of hit that zone of, you know, all EX skills all day, every day, at least in the higher tiers, for newer players, useful, because you're going to be using a lot of neutral stuff, but will fall off. High firepower Federation tags again. I've already talked about those combos, so I'm just gonna not. And statistically, we're looking at about 2,400 or so shot attack, a little above that. For a torso, that is absolutely bonkers. Good stuff. And for melee, just over 1,000 token, pretty much, when you consider a 4-star torso. Overall, the torso is statistically pretty good. It's got healthy tags. The trait is very situational. Mileage may vary. Alright, arms. While Federation, EX skill power boosted by 35%. Now, that boost is really interesting to see. Do keep in mind, our current cap for boosts is at 40%, and that is on Sokai and limited parts, primarily up towards the 7-star bracket. With that in mind, seeing a WoW Federation, which, as we've discussed, build agnostic and relatively easy to have access to, especially recently, you get a 35% EX skill power boost, the second highest mod available in the game on a 4-star ticketable part. The single downside that I can see to this is that if the MK3 does not have alteration, it might, I haven't checked the alteration list yet, it means that it will still lose out to Sokai and limited parts, and that it won't have a second trait to add the little cherry on top. But even then, standalone, this is a really good trait, a very easy activation trigger, the second highest modifier available in the game for EX skill power, and due to the fact that it is a WoW Federation, which is build agnostic, and is just EX skill power boost instead of melee or shot, overall, you can just slap this on anything. That's pretty good. Statistically, we're looking at about 1,750, 800. Yeah, no, definitely more towards the lower. Oh, excuse me. So pretty much just under okay, about 1,850 or so, give or take. My math's a little wonky today. Don't mind me. I'm having a day where brain no worky. If you were in this room, you could smell the smoke, all the wood burning in my head right now. Anyways, good trait. The stats, melee-wise, well, I've already talked about shot, just under 1,900. Melee-wise, we're looking at about 4,800, 4,900, kind of in that range there. Solid numbers for a 4-star pick part. The word tags, high firepower Federation, very flexible. And the trait, like I said, build agnostic, solid stuff. Legs. With rifle category equipped, super easy to do. We have so many rifles in this game, it's not even funny. 33% chance to not recoil. That means when you get smacked, does your suit flinch? This gives you a 1 in 3 chance for that to not happen. However, do keep in mind, the enemy does have the ability to equip parts that increase their chance to stagger you, making this kind of buff not a permanent guarantee. Do keep that in mind when creating your suit, and live by the golden rule. Just don't get hit. High firepower Gundam Type. So we swapped out Federation and we've obtained Gundam Type. Gundam Type is a much more powerful tag than Federation in that it activates myriad traits. We've had so many traits over the last year alone that require Gundam Type to activate. Good stuff. Although it's also one of the more common word tags, so there's that as well. Statistically, we're looking at about 2,300 or so shot attack, which is pretty cool stuff. Remember, legs and backpack, typically offensively the weakest. This one is pretty solid. That's good. And then melee, it's like 700, 800 token. Who cares? High firepower Gundam Type. Overall, interesting part. The trait I'm not the biggest fan of because, you know, don't get hit. The stats are definitely good. A lot of oomph packed in those legs, considering the part itself. The tags are workable tertiaries, absolutely. Okay, backpack. Ooh, you know, I will say, I do like the way that backpack looks. I will give it that. That is a very sleek looking backpack. Okay. The EX skill, Beam Cannon, B plus power, D pierce, low cooldown, 6-second initial, 21-second base. Fire beams from a cannon. Look, on paper, that sounds pretty good. I don't really have much to say about that. It's cut and dry. Okay. We still got the high firepower Gundam type word tags. And then statistically, we're looking at about 2,200 or so shot attack and about just under 1,000 melee. Pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Ooh, Beam Saber. All right, do we have anything interesting on here? While high firepower, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. Okay, so remember, high firepower. Super easy to get. It is on a ton of suits in this game. To double up, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. That is a build agnostic ability. That means it's not, you know, because high firepower can be on either melee or shot, and it is just initial EX skill charge. This will work for anything you slap it on. Do keep in mind, initial EX skill charge boost only refers to the number that's typically within brackets when you look at the cooldown time for a skill. That is what's going to be reduced. Depending on your loadout and depending on how you decide to cycle your EX skills, this may not be required at all. If you use a lot of magazine skills, those start the match off cooldown, and you would want cooldown reduction for those, not initial. If you're using a lot of big cutscene skills, you want initial cooldown and general cooldown, and so on and so forth. I figure you guys can grasp all that. But anyways, not a bad trait. 20% is a really high modifier. Really easy to activate. Statistically, 5,300 and change. Well, a little more than change, like 53.5 and change. Good numbers for a Beam Saber. Especially, the 4-star pick ticket. Yep, breaks 10k as well. Good stuff. Cool beans. The MK3 beam rifle. Rapid rifle fire. A plus pierce, C power. Oh, that hurts. That sucks, man. Oh well. Do keep in mind that C power, it's workable, but it does hit much, much weaker than a B or B plus power skill. Not saying you can't use it, you absolutely can. It's just not going to be as easy, especially when you consider the amount of EX skills that we have available in the pool already. Okay. Statistically, the rifle has 5,600 and change shot attack. Also breaks 10k. High firepower Gundam type. Okay. Both the beam rifle and the beam saber have respectable numbers for their respective traits. Nice word tag selection. The trait, unfortunately, is much better than the EX skill. Just, yeah. Will the A plus help with the C power? So that's kind of like one of the issues we have with figuring out the game is we don't have the damage formula. From people doing empirical testing by putting suit A and suit B against each other, and they have the same stats every time. The only difference is the EX skills that they're using, which thankfully very easy to accomplish with custom skins. With that in mind, Pierce may be useful, but power is still king. You're way, way, way better off getting a skill that has, S- power, and then getting traits that pierce enemy armor and resistances, versus getting a weak EX skill and getting the EX skill power boost stuff and tacking it on there. Pretty much, you want to have the highest base power you can, and then work on supplementing the pierce of it. You don't want to do it the other way. You don't want a double S- pierce EX skill that has D power. It's just not gonna. Yeah, and like that's the thing, right? We've had EX skills in the past where it was A, or like, A minus, A or A plus pierce, and then C minus, C, C plus power. And I think there's like one example where that actually wasn't bad, but almost every other example, it's just not as good. And it's a shame because it immediately disqualifies. Excuse me. It disqualifies a bunch of really cool looking EX skills from really ever seeing the light of day outside of a brand new account. Because once you go up to B plus power and higher, it's like a qualitative change in your output. Yeah, you pretty much want to stack the penetration versus power when it comes to an EX skill. If you had to pick between them, get the highest base power EX skill you can, and then supplement that with more power boosts. And if you somehow get some extra pierce in there, cool beans. But frankly, you just want to have the biggest bat in the room. Works out. If we had access to the damage formula, we could probably figure out a min-maxed perfect value for everything. But we don't have that damage formula, so that's just not happening. Anyways, let's take a look at the MK3 Shield. EX skill, round slicer, B plus power, D pierce, low cooldown. I will have to see the animation on this, as it is a melee EX skill. If the animation is quick, if it is to the point, if it is hard to whiff, excellent. If it is not any of those things, that's going to be a problem. But on paper, looks solid. Stats, we're looking at about 1,700 or so melee attack, and about 900 shot attack or so. For a shield, that's not too bad. About 1,000 plus both. Sure, cool. Definitely more than 1,000 melee attack, but minimum 1,000 on each stat is good. Melee just definitely got the leg up on this, going up well past 1,500. So good job, Shield. That's a lot of offensive value on there. I hope your EX skill is good. As for word tags, higher firepower and Federation, I've already talked about that combo. I'll spare you. All right. So that is our MK3. Very interesting stat distribution. Very nice word tag selection. EX skills and traits are not bad whatsoever. Good little things to pick here and there. Overall, though, for a 4-star pick ticket suit, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I would definitely say it earns a place, if anything, just for aesthetics alone. Looks really cool. I really like that backpack. But don't feel pressured to get this. Again, it's not even a 7-star suit or a limited Sokai, so it's already kind of losing out there. But, yeah. Okay, let's take a look at our pilots for this week. We have Vish Donahue? Donahue? I'm gonna go Donahue. Anyways, let's take a look. Wow! The supporter job license. The unicorn. We get maybe one of these every couple of months. For the better, honestly. Before 30 seconds pass, shooting power boosted by 25%. That's nasty. So, shooting power boost, 25%. It's not the highest multiplier. The highest multiplier is 40%. But, considering he is a 3-star pilot, it's pretty damn good. As long as you're not dragging the content on past 30 seconds. Ace exclusive and Xeon word tags. Well, Ace exclusive is the best shot tag you can ask for. So, cool. Right next to Commander. And Xeon is a not as widely seen, but still very powerful melee tag. Giving you 10% melee defense and 5% melee attack. Really good for the carryover values on that one. However, you know, the shooting power boost just kind of negate the whole Xeon tag thing in this kit, but Ace exclusive works. Anyways, statistically, we're looking at about 1,600 change melee attack and about 1,800, 1,900 shot, 1,850, kind of around that bracket area. For a 3-star pilot, he packs a wallop, that's for sure. The supporter job license does cripple him greatly, though, in terms of offensive capability, as support job licenses, their only real benefit is reducing the cooldowns on any healing EX skills that your suit may have equipped. Yeah. For a 3-star pilot, not bad, but really he's going to be kind of like a trait mule, I think, if anything. But I guess that's a lot better than can be said about most 3-star pilots. So, all right. And Stella Lucier Destroy Edition. Long shoot. Would you classify the Destroy Gundam as a long range? Like, on paper, it can definitely siege long range. It absolutely should be able to, based on the arsenal it has. But in practice, we've never seen it actually. It fights more like an outfighter than anything. Kind of like a cross between a mid-shooter and an outfighter, where it stays at kind of that medium distance to harass via shot. And if something gets really close, then it does have some physical options available to it. Not many, but some. I just find long shooters a little weird with the Destroy. Possible to do, much like, you know, you could absolutely use a sniper rifle as a melee weapon. But why would you? Technically, yes, considering it only shoots. Okay, sure, but like, it has physical weaponry in it, like anti-fizz. Like, remember, the disjointed hands on the Destroy, if they're attached to the suit, it can 100% turn on that shield and just go for the SWAT. That is a beam shield. That is, you cannot stop that. Yeah, I do agree, Lulu. The tags on this are absolutely on point. There are no two ways about it. I don't think there are any better tags they could have picked to put on Stella. Ace exclusive. She is absolutely an ace in the series. High firepower. If the Destroy is not high firepower, I don't know what is. Alright, trait. When armor is 60% or more, enemy shooting cut minus... Okay, so we need to have a talk about this word tag. Okay? Or not, this trait. So, some people have tested this trait to see exactly what it does. And some of you may already be aware of this, and I assume that's going to be a good chunk of you. But for the ones that aren't, I'll loop you in. This trait set, the enemy shooting cut, enemy melee cut, enemy EX cut, whatever, all this cut, actually acts more as a power boosted than a enemy or a cut. For whatever reason, even though these are supposed to be affecting an enemy's, you know, enemy EX skill power reduced by 30%, or in this case, enemy shooting power reduced by 30%, or whatever percent it has, That's what this is supposed to be affecting. That is supposed to negate those traits. Instead, what it is doing is it is just kind of applying an extra 30%. That's pretty much how it's working. So when you see in this case, enemy shooting cut by 30%, what you should be seeing is when armor is 60% or more, shooting power boosted by 30%. That's how you should be reading this set of characters. We don't know if that's how it's intended to actually function. We don't know if this is a bug. So keep that in mind when you're working around this tag and using it in any builds, knowing now what it does. Hey, Alan. So just be careful with that. So even though on paper, when armor is 60% or more, shooting power boosted by 30% sounds absolutely friggin' aces, and it does, believe me. If they do actually fix this EX skill or this trait's trigger to properly reduce the cut the enemy has instead of just effectively giving you a power boost, yeah, because the reason it gives you a boost is because there doesn't seem to be a floor. So if I have no traits on my suit that reduce your shooting power by whatever percent, this minus 30% reduces that by 30% more. So instead of me applying a 0% shooting power cut to you, it is now a negative 30% shooting power cut to you, meaning you're getting 30% extra on me. That's where the problem with this is. At least that's what we're assuming just because of how it's interacting with the game. So if they fix it, then this will have very limited mileage in that if your enemy doesn't have any of these cut skills, it's completely worthless. But if they leave it as it is, that's really powerful. So I don't want to put too much into this because we don't know if Bandai is going to fix this or not. Because if they do not fix it and leave it as it is, this is a 9 out of 10 trait. The only reason it's not 10 out of 10 is because, I mean, armor 60% or more. It'd be way nicer if it was, you know, if armor is higher than 0%, you know, always active. But tis bad joke. But end of the day, this is a really, really good trait in its current form. Anyways, moving on. Stats. We're looking at about 3,100 shot attack. Again, this is not a build project pilot. This is a standard 4-star pick ticket pilot. So that's really good numbers to have. On top of that, we're looking at token melee. It's 800 or so, give or take. Yeah, that's really good shot attack, all things considered. Good stuff. One version of Cella wasn't enough as a build project. So this, honestly, I think should have been the build project pilot, and the civilian clothes should have been the gacha version, just because the civilian clothes is when the only time I think you see Stella piloting her suit in civilian clothes is when they initially hit Armory 1. And then the Destroy obviously comes much, much later in the series. I think this would have been a better build project between the two of them, but that water's been spilled. So anyways, good traits, good stats, good tags, all of it's good. The only thing, like I said, just be careful about the part trait. If they do patch it in the future, it will be much worse than it currently is. Okay, cool beans. So that out of the way, well, let's go take a look at our Twitter videos for our MK3 and the Harute, whatever Gundam. Take a look at those. Rare by appearance rate. Okay, fair, but come on. That's a little cheeky, don't you think? At least you didn't have a funnel time increase trait for the... You know, if they had given us the pilot with the Destroy, and the Destroy actually let you launch the arms off as funnels, it would have been one of the very few cases that I would be okay with that kind of trait. because it would be so thematically on point, I couldn't even complain about it. Okay, so let's take a look-see. Wait, what? Ah, there it is. Didn't enter the whole URL. I was like, hold on a sec, you're not the right one. Okay, so what's our first suit? Ah, all right. MK3. Let's take a look-see. Was that? That was the Gun EX, wasn't it? So this is the C Power EX skill that we were talking about. It sprays. That makes it even worse, because as you can see, at this distance, a lot of those shots are going to go stray. You're only going to hit with a portion of what you actually fire at your opponent. Granted, at close range, not going to be as big of a deal. Large enemies, not that big of a deal. But one of the key advantages to shot EX skills is the ability to have range. Once you remove the bonus of getting that range on your opponent, why even bother? Alright, let's continue. This is our Shield EX. Okay, so let's just quickly dissect that here real quick. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. Hold on a sec. Did that auto home in on another opponent? No. Okay. So, quite unfortunately, it took too long for them to kill the first enemy. So, I don't know if this has auto lock on or tracking. Although, I guess it is safe to say there is some tracking involved in there, as it does do a lot of kind of moving around and pushing the enemy side to side as it's attacking. Overall, though, I don't really like it that much. Does this Stella give hope of a BP Lacus? You know, I don't know what to think anymore. Because, like, when you think about it, I keep hearing that Gundam Seed / Destiny is super popular over in Japan. And cool beans, right? I'm totally on board with that. But then I look at this, the game, and it's like, aight, so we're going to give you a really bad Lacus to start with. Okay. They chose mediocre art at best and gave her a very lackluster kit. Then like, okay. We're going to give you a new, updated Lacus. Alright. She was okay. So, when I look at that, and then I look at other Seed pilots that have added to the game, like we've had 2 pilots now from Seed, I think, Neo and Stella, added to the game as build project pilots, but not Lacus, which is really weird considering Gundam Seed is supposed to be super popular. Maybe just the character's not that popular. Thinking about that, I wonder if we're going to get a build project Waldfeld. As long as they give us the Legao to go with them. That'd be great. Yeah. So, that EX skill, the shield one, looks interesting. I'm not really feeling it though. And this is the backpack. See, this is what I mean, right? This is why you have such an advantage using shot EX skill. Look at that. It fires a volley from a range, super quick, locked right onto the enemy. Like, come on, that's so good. Look at that, it's beautiful. And that's the really low cooldown B power skill too, mind you. So that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Okay. And are you our orange buddy today? Hey, so it is. Trans Am. Who could have foreseen this? Alright, we got a cutscene. Alright. It looks flashy, but it is just another cutscene EX skill. Like that honestly was really fly. I like the way that this was kind of choreographed. I think that's cool stuff. Not too long, not too short. Okay. Did we get 6 eyes with the Trans Am? Let's see what the battle end screen looks like from the front. Based on this image, does not look like we got 6 eyes. So. Does it transform on awakening? I'm not really seeing it. And even from the initial cutscene where it activated its head, like I'm not really seeing it do anything, you know? Maybe it does. Yeah, it's just because the awakening is so red, we don't really get to see much. It's not like the unicorn awakening where like the shoulder pads like pop up and you can visibly see the change happening. This one's just very, yeah. Okay. Anyways, so let's see here. What do we got? Oh yeah. So we have, this was, yeah, that was early. I've already looked at that. So we have the arena suit was what was altered. The old arena suit, Dark Hound, and okay. So we'll start off looking at Dark Hound, and then we'll pop on over to look at Old Orange himself. Now, for anyone that hasn't watched me talk about alterations before, very simple, very straightforward. I'm only going to be looking at the part trait / EX skill. When it comes to alterations, the stats will almost always increase across the board. We have less than 5 examples on record in this game where the stats drastically differ pre and post alteration. With that in mind, I always recommend that you always do your own research and double check the numbers before investing, as you cannot roll back an alteration. The reason I only look at part trait and EX skill with that in mind is beyond the stats, which are more or less guaranteed to increase, word tags do not change with alteration. Part traits and EX skills do, and that's what we're looking at here. Is it worth the investment? Earlier on, when alteration just came out, this was kind of a big deal because we had very limited resources to play with, but as the time has gone by over a year now, we have a lot more freedom in what we alter. So it's a lot less of a min-max thing now, more of a, yeah, if you like the suit, go for it, you know? But we're still gonna just take a look at that. So let's get cracking on the Dark Hound. Okay. So, with force space being the activation trigger for both of these here, force space I think now has 6 traits that it activates in the entire game. Yay. Anyways, while force space EX skill power boosted by 25%. That's a very solid boost. Force space is kind of a harsh trade-off though. And also while force space, EX skill power boosted by another 35%. So you're looking at approximately a 60% cap increase on your EX skill power while force space is active on your suit. I don't like the 4 line of tags. I think they could definitely be better even after their post-buff forms. Do keep in mind that in GBM, we have very little control over the map that we're actually going to be playing on in the majority of content, meaning you're not really going to be able to ensure that your force space tag gets maximum mileage every time you run a map. If you don't care about the small percentile losses, power to you, mate. Do what you want to do. Don't let anyone stop you. But overwhelmingly, the 4 line of tags just don't activate enough traits to be worth throwing away a more common tag for. So yeah, kind of a niche setup thing. All right, torso, flash eye. All right, so the stun got stunnier. Arms. Anchor shot, D Pierce B plus power, low cooldown. Fire and anchor. The B plus power with pocket rocket cooldown and D Pierce. Honestly, for an arena suit, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Legs. Stream slash, B plus Pierce and B plus power. Ooh. Low cooldown, and it's just unleash a flurry of sabers. Now, unless I'm mistaken, the animation on this was kind of lackluster. So definitely a mileage may vary scenario. If you whiff the EX skill, obviously you're not going to do any damage and it's worthless. But hey, you know what? If you land it, cool. Anchor shot is good because it stuns. Good to know. I never really used the Dark Hound, so that's good to know. So not only did the anchor shot get a B plus power upgrade and a very low cooldown to go with, but it also stuns after it hits. It's pretty dope. All right, backpack. With lance category equipped, we do have a good selection of lances in the game, and we do have some Sokai lances as well, so there is some viability there. Melee damage output boosted by a flat number. Worthless. With lance category equipped, melee power boosted by 30%, or 35%, sorry. Now that second trait is really nice, if you're someone that mains lances. However, as the first trait's a flat damage output boost, kinda useless first trait, but a good second trait. And this is kind of a, is it worth investing all the resources and materials for the second trait when we do have other suits available with alteration that have a good first trait and second trait? And this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where early on this really mattered because we had very limited resources, but now it's definitely a different story. So if you really like the Dark Hound, okay, you know, I can definitely see that second trait being worth it for you if you use it actively. But if you're using the Dark Hound as a aesthetic suit, probably not the best idea. And the lance, the Dodds Lancer. While for space, strong melee crit rate boosted by 17%. Unfortunately, crit in this game is still just not good. Hard pass. While close combat, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. Close combat is a very powerful tertiary melee tag. There are a ton of traits that this word tag will activate, including this one here in front of us. Initial EX skill charge, we've already talked about that before. It's definitely not bad, not the best, but it's definitely kind of in that like top middle area there. Good stuff. This is an arena suit too, so even better. With speed attributes, this is the gun now. With speed attribute, shooting damage output boosted by a flat number, 20, right off. When C power is over 150,000, super easy to do. Yeah, that is not difficult at all. Debuff EX skill effect up 30%. So in case you aren't aware, what this means is any EX skill you have that applies a debuff directly to the opponent, not as a side effect kind of thing, this will increase the effect by 30% flat, just add on 30% to it. So if you have a like an armor hack skill to reduce the enemy defense by whatever percent, just add 30% onto that kind of idea. Has the potential to be absolutely terrifying. Cool. Very interesting additions to the Dark Hound. Yeah. The anchor sounds pretty good. You know, and low cooldown, high power, stuns. The I've always found it kind of weird when it's like a stun skill that gets the alteration treatment, you know? Like, we had what? The Jabera as well that also had alteration for it, and it's stun too, was it? Anyways, I just find it weird whenever I see these stuns get a boost. Anyhow, let's take a look at our Urgent Battle Suit. And not hit the wrong button because the screen is heckin' sensitive. Alright, the head of Harute, however you pronounce it. I still don't know. While high mobility, all power boosted by 40%. That is... wow. High mobility, very powerful. 40% all power boost, also powerful. When shot attack is over 10,000, EX skill power boosted by 40%. Getting your primary offensive stat over 10,000 is not very difficult anymore, so practically for free, as long as you have high mobility on your suit as an active word tag, you're getting a 40% all power boost, and then a 40% EX skill power boost to add on to that. It's pretty good. High mobility, high firepower tags as well. Yep. Yep. Good traits. Torso. Against enemy with advantageous attribute. Enemy melee cut minus 30%. So again, against enemy with advantageous attribute, melee power boosted by 30%. Okay. Outfighter job, melee power boosted by a further 35%. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Arms. While high firepower, buff EX skill effect up 35%. Much like the debuff EX skill effect up, same idea here. Any buff you apply to your suit is just getting a 35% fat increase to it. Nice. When buffed, EX skill power boosted by 40%. So not only is whatever buff you're applying to yourself going to get a 35% boost, but after doing that, your EX skill power gets further boosted by 40%. Dang, Dan. Okay. Let's check. That was arms, right? I'm not taking crazy pills. Good. All right, legs. This is our Trans Am Awakening. Melee up 39%, beam resist up 49%, speed up 20%. 39% is the, fourth highest we have. We have 59%, 54%, 49%, and then 39%. 54% being available on a 4-star pick ticketable part before any alterations are even applied, which is really good. But it is also just a melee attack boost, not a speed boost, not a beam resist boost. So, yeah. Overall, though, solid buffs. Yeah. Kind of a standard EX skill you would see for any of the 00 suits with a Trans Am unit. Or a GN drive. GN Scissorbit and GN Cannons. This is the cutscene skill we saw with all the dashing and the lasers and the stuff. Raise melee attack of your squad by 49%. Dang. That's a good buff there. It's third highest in the game. S Power, D Pierce, cutscene cooldown, physical melee type. No real complaints on this. It is very, very standard to see on a limited suit, a S Power EX skill. Yeah. The melee attack boost being 49% is a little surprising. I was expecting a 39% with some heals or something, but purely offensive boost. Good stuff. All right. Beam Sabers, the GN sword rifles. Job gauge increase down 10%, so your job gauge will fill 10% slower, but you get a 30% melee power boost. As I mentioned, I don't like the job gauge at all, so to me, that's not even a demerit. Nice. Job gauge increase down 10%, again, enemy melee cut by 35%. So, job gauge increase down 10%, melee power boosted by 35%. All in all, you're getting a 65% melee power boost for losing 20% of your job gauge increase rate. I think that's totally acceptable. And again, much like I was mentioning with Stella, if they do fix the way that this trait works, where it does actually only affect cuts the enemy puts onto you, instead of just, removing the number regardless of whether or not they have any of those traits on it, whether or not they balance or fix that really makes or breaks that kind of trait. In its current form, though, where it acts as a power boost effectively if they don't have any cuts, sure. And the GN Sword Rifle. While high mobility, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. I've already talked about pretty much its exact same trait. Just going to move along. When melee defense is over 10,000, a little more difficult to do early on versus an offensive stat, but still definitely within the realm of possibility. Initial EX skill charge boosted by another 20%. So if you're high mobility and have over 10k melee defense, you're getting a 40% initial EX skill charge boost. That is a lot. That is almost half of the cooldown gone right there. And that's really good for cutscenes, because that's going to be like a solid 10-12 seconds sliced off of the initial start. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So the Urgent Battle Suit definitely has some really interesting traits to it. But I think its best part is kind of reliant on what we assume is a bug currently in the game. Okay, I shouldn't say best part, because the all power boost 40% was really, 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 really good. Anyways, it's a good suit. It's nothing that makes me have like a jaw dropping, oh, this is awesome, you need to get it. But it's okay. Like, it is kind of what we expect from a 7-star suit. Okay. So, with that, we've looked over all the new content that came with this patch. We've, the new suits, event shop, all the fun stuff. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start playing the new account here. As I mentioned, I'll be doing that as a follow-up to these streams. So I'm going to be doing that now. If you were here just for the content impressions, thanks for tuning in, all that fun stuff. Thanks for coming week after week to see me talk endlessly about new content being added into the game. For anyone that wants to just kind of hang out, mellow, talk GBM while I poke through my new account and try to get my numbers higher than they currently are, you are welcome to stay. With that in mind, I think I actually have some Gadget rolls here. I do have the ability to do 2 multi-rolls, and I may actually do them, but first let's do this premium ticket. I'm debating, I think I'm going to do the Harute Gundam, or Harute whatever, do a multi-roll on that or 2, because as a new account, I do kind of need, which version of Barbados is this? Oh no, it's Floros. Okay. It definitely had the 00 look to it. I thought it was Barbados for some reason. That also means I get 2 parts, which is good, minimum. Anyways, I'm probably gonna roll for the Harute, whatever. Try hopefully get a couple parts of that so that the event grind will go easier. Because I do want to empty this shop like I did the previous event, as there are a ton of resources this account still needs, and the events are a very, very good way of obtaining all of those resources with relatively minimal effort involved. So we'll do that. Well, we'll finish this. We'll roll the gacha for the urgent battle, And then we'll hop into doing the new event content. Oh, big torso. Full armor, double Z. Oh, wow, look at that. V2. Alrighty. 8-shot, cool. The Super Galaxy Cannon. Oh, yeah. I actually got the... Oh, dang. That's good stuff. And, well, Pro Tag, anyway, okay. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Any other neat events tickets? Not really. Got a bunch of tickets I do need to eventually use, though. Anyways, let us roll for you. Ah. Alright, so there's a small chance that one of these purples will upgrade to gold. It's a shame that the Urgent Battle banner doesn't have like a step up applied to it, because I definitely would have rolled that, but what can you do, right? So I did mention last stream how I would kind of think of an end game goal setup for this account and try to figure out what I wanted to accomplish by the time the end of the month hits. We've hit effective, I believe it's pretty much halfway through the month now. Yes, this goes to, so we're halfway through. I think what my goals are going to be here is to, as I mentioned, at minimum 6-star the main frame and back slot it so that I have a full set of word tags, a proper setup. I'm looking to break 40k of my primary stat, and I am also looking to complete up to a certain point in free mission content. Now, what I was trying to think about was exactly how far I thought I could get in free missions, but I realized even on my main account, I never really paid too much attention to the actual difficulty of, oh, this is a step. Awesome. I didn't really pay too much attention to the actual, like, difficulty curve of free missions, because by the time I really started tackling them, I was already extremely powerful, a lot like most of us were. So, kinda... I'm not sure how to gauge that. When it comes to the challenge mission content, I'm even less sure, because the one issue with the currently incomplete challenge mission content, one of them just requires a suite of parts to specifically tackle each mission challenge, which this new account doesn't currently have access to. Flip side, with the way that the account's been panning out so far, I do have access to a good amount of stuff to do. I could probably complete up to 1 million C-Power content, probably, without much difficulty on with a single suit. Anyways, we're pretty much going to see exactly how far we can take this, and then tally up at the end. Kind of what got done, what didn't get done, and all that fun stuff. Alright, no gold at all between these two rolls. So hopefully I can get enough Haro to do a third roll and get my gold part. What I'm going to do is I'm off stream, so tomorrow I'm going to farm up more Haro through the story campaign, so that when we meet up in 2 days from now for the next GBM stream, I should have enough currency to do my third step. Are you trying to complete free missions with all the reward Haro, or just complete them? So, because I am personally not a big fan of doing alt accounts, my goal after this month is completed, I will save the bind code, I will store it away, and in the scenario I ever need this account again, I'll have access to it, but I don't plan on continuing playing this once the month is over. I just, again, I'm not a fan of alt accounting. I've never found it to be a enjoyable pastime. Because, God, that's... No, thank you. So when it comes to completing free missions for all of the Haro or not, I think it really depends on the mission. If it's, oh, use 3 EX skills, sure. If it's, oh, complete it with a very specific attribute, all right, I will probably stop to think about that one a little bit. So, now, no supports. We're gonna set this to auto because I have learned this past week that I am no good piloting melee machines in this game. Nope. Does not work well on this phone. So I'll let the AI handle the MOOC content, so to speak. Now, I'm trying to think of that the current Urgent Battle banner does have a very nice melee suit, so it'd be really cool to be able to get more Haro to roll on that. I'm just trying to figure out how much of the suit... Oh wait, the AI didn't use a single EX skill, did it? Oh, it did. I just didn't notice. Tickets. Gotta do 4 tickets for the 5 normals. Cool. And on to the next tier. I'm going to try to stay away from farming this event too hard until I've gotten at least one of the banner parts, because I don't want to lose a bunch of AP effectively running a mission. Technique attribute Gunpla. Oh good, my primary suit is technique to begin with. Luck of the draw. Luck of the Irish. Make the best on automation. That's another thing where it's like, I would love to, but that has such a high prerequisite for like parts. I don't know if I'd be able to do that within the month I have without whaling. And like, I don't want to spend a cent on this this account. This account is completely free to play. Wait, did you run out of Haro? Yeah, I only had 3,700 Haro chips because I spent a lot of time making sure that the shop was completely emptied. So most of my AP was spent on just farming the mission. And that's why, like, tomorrow, I'm going to just go into story mode and try to clear... By the way, I'm on Chapter 8 already. But by end of tomorrow, I should probably be on Chapter 11 or 12. So that I have enough Haro for a few more multi-rolls come stream day. Because, like I said, that's kind of my goal, is to get through all of the story if possible, and then as much as the free missions after. Or if I hit a wall in story, immediately change over to free missions and see how far I can take it. Okay. My auto machine is my shot with 3 magazine Vulcans. Yeah. I don't want to use refills. I'm gonna have to finish farming at least the basics, but I don't want to. I'll just wait then. I'll just remember I haven't done my tickets for any of them except for the normal. But normal is also practically free, so. That point-blank halberd throw. What a monster. Alright, no EX skills for the actual boss. Nice. I like watching it cartwheel. That's just great. I think the AI is actually going to lose this one. Yeah. And I think I actually accidentally entered here with a support suit and didn't even realize it. Oh, we're not buying back. That's not happening. I can manual this. I don't think I can full auto this. Because auto uses EX skills in rather wonky ways. But if I do semi-auto, that should be fine, and then take over on the boss. That should be good. Or maybe I'll just play it. Deal with the fact I'm not a very good melee pilot. We don't want no supports where we're going. Yeah, it looks like I accidentally did pick a support suit. Oof. Big brain. I can tell my poor phone's starting to overheat because of how long it's taking to load combat maps. Wow. That was really close. I had 2 seconds left on that clock for the 60 seconds. Spicy. Trying to grind past the new content verse now. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? That's like, it's always the thing with a new account and an old account, and effectively everything ever. New accounts have to really work to, you know, achieve the same things as a really old player, you know, just autoing it or not paying attention to being able to clear it even if they completely screw up. Okay. So let's put together a new event suit here. Look, select parts. Unksha. Okay. Yee doggy. All right. Oh, he's racking up those infighter clears. Let's go. And gift box is going to be my, what, 90 Haro or whatever? Yeah. Okay. So, I'm just going to do a brief status update of the account and then hop off, because it is already 12:30 in the morning. That whole daylight savings time thing is really throwing a wrench into my plans, or show you my daily schedule. So, for story content, we are approximately halfway through Chapter 9 already, which is really good. Lots of horror there. For free missions, we have done absolutely none of it. There's a ton of horror in here that I plan on working towards probably later on this week / early next week. Tomorrow is going to be story content. Haven't done arena. For Battle Circuit, we've been able to consistently clear the first stage of it for those free alteration tools, which is really nice because you need a large stack of that. However, after clearing the bingo board for last week's event, we're kind of sitting on a bunch of alteration tools. As you can see, I got 26 alteration tools. 26! It's crazy. On that note, I should probably alter this, I guess. It's one of the few Yaon parts that I have. Might as well get those extra numbers. Brr. Yeah. It's actually kind of crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much where we stand with this right now. The primary suit is quickly approaching 25k primary stat. All we have to do is apply a few more alterations to it, which won't be difficult. I just need to get appropriate parts and 6-star / 7-star them for the extra sub-slots and stuff. And that's why I'm hoping when I do my banner roll 2 days from now, we luck out on some parts, so that way I have more to slot in. Because right now, this suit, I've only 6-starred the parts that are going to go the distance. And I kind of want to make sure that whatever I'm investing into has longevity to the parts. Not that I need to, because the account's not going to have a lot of longevity to it, but it's one of those, if you're going to do it right the first time kind of things. So I'm hoping I can get the arms and torso from the Harut Gundam, because those will be some nice stats. Yeah. So anyways, as we approach 12:30 in the morning, I'm gonna hop off. I will see you guys the day after tomorrow for a status update stream for the game and this account, and we will go from there. Yeah, DST, man, DST is screwing me up for these, because I wanted to go for like the normal 2.5 hours, or you know, at least 2 hours, but yeah, man, that's too late. So I'm gonna wrap up. But yeah, really good to see this account going. It's definitely going places. All I can say is it is so much easier playing this account than I remember playing at the very beginning of the game. Just so much of a stat difference. Content clearing is so much easier. I remember when the extreme difficulty of missions was actually difficult, and we had to like really work to clear it and get the rewards. Man, those were the days. And then they turned extreme into like a normal difficulty thing. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up, gang. Thanks for hanging in, tuning on, all that fun stuff. I'll see y'all in a couple of days. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. See you in the next one.